Alright, got the trailer loaded up. Headed a few hours away to pick up a couple of Honda three-wheelers. The guy said they're both big reds, but I noticed one does not have electric start. So I don't know if it had an engine swap at some point, but let's hit the road. Alright guys, just got back and took them off the trailer. Got them in the garage here. This one's an 83 ATC 200E. And this one, it's missing that label here, but judging by the tank, it's also 83. And it's got this power port here, which that was a thing for 83, and it's got the no neutral light here. 84 has a neutral light. I believe they're both big reds because they got the headlight guard, the front and rear racks, but this one must have had an engine replacement at some point because, see on this one here, it's got electric start in the high-low. This one does not have that. So I wonder if you can see anywhere. It should say somewhere on here about this, what CC it is, but I mean, it looks about the same size. Let's see if it's, yeah, I'm not seeing it offhand, but it's got to be somewhere on there. So yeah, I don't think that's the original engine. So let's go over these things. Let's start with this one. It's got a plastic tank. And it looks like there's no, looks pretty dry. I don't see anything in there. It does have a key. Choke lever. It's stuck right now. The seat, yeah, that's pretty nasty. These have a metal seat pan, but it looks like these little tabs that hold the cover on are all there and they're not rusted off yet, so that's good. So we could probably put a new seat cover on there. Front plastic. This fender is really nice. It still has the mud flap. And I'm not seeing any cracks. Oh, wait, there's a little one right here on the front. But other than that, it's pretty decent. These boots are ripped. The rear plastic looks in pretty nice shape. I don't see any cracks here at all. So the rear plastic's pretty nice. Tail lights there. It's got the factory hitch. Storage compartment. Battery cables are here. Looks like the battery hold down. got the cage, but there's no filter. But there's no mice in there, so that's good. So it looks like it just needs the filter that goes around there. It's got the rubber for the seat. Let's check the oil. Oh, it's pretty black, but it's right up there. And the brake lever, that's not moving, so I wonder if we can unstick that. Probably everything's all dry. It's got the compression release right here. We'll have to take the carb off and clean that. Goal is to try to get this one running today. Brakes. So this one is missing the cable here. And this one, the cable is there, but the lever's broken. This one is for the front brake. That does move. This one does pull over. It's got compression. I don't want to pull over it too much. We'll take that spark plug out and put some oil in there. This one has the power port here. Although this one looks different. Why is... Huh. It's got some sort of attachment to it. Tires. This tire is very cracked. The rear tires. I did fill this one up with air when I pushed it in, but it looks like it's slowly losing air. But yeah, these are pretty cracked too. All right, let's move on to this one. So the guy said this one is a parts machine, and it's pretty rough. It's got the original metal tank. Oh, and he did say this one ran like a year or two ago. So, and let's get a light in there. Doesn't look terrible. I've seen worse. That's probably savable. Choke lever does move on this one. There's no ignition. And there's no brake handles at all. And I noticed this one's got a kill switch over here, and that one doesn't. They're both chain drive. And this one looks like it might be a factory seat cover. It's pretty tough shape. And this pan is worse than the other one. It's pretty rusted out. So I don't know if this can be saved or not. This rack is a lot better than that one. This one's got less rust on it. And these springs are from the front forks. These forks are shot. I don't know what. I mean, it's like, there's like a spot weld right here. But yeah, these are, must be this wire that keeps it together. But yeah. And then what else is in here? Got the intake boot. I think that's for the air cleaner. Let's see what this, that's probably why this one doesn't pull over right now. That's probably why, because this intake was off. Probably got some water in there. All right, so same thing on this one. So I don't know what this is for then. Huh. I'll figure it out. All right. So yeah, the plastics on this one. This front fender is, it's cracked right here, missing the mud flap. And this rack looks like someone hit a tree or something. It's all kind of bent. And this looks like it came originally from Washington State. The rear plastics, there's a crack right there. And this is cracked. This whole back part. So yeah, this one, taillight's cracked. These back tires, this one looks like it's losing air. It's got the hitch on there. So, I think first things first, let's get these spark plugs out. We'll shoot some oil down there, let that soak for a little bit. And we'll get this carburetor off and see what that's all about. Alright, that's what the spark plug looks like. That looks pretty good. We'll check for spark. Let's get some oil down that cylinder. Alright, this is just some 2-stroke oil. And while we're here, I've been spraying this brake with some PB Blaster. And I also sprayed some in the back too. But that's trying to free up. It's getting better. All right, let's check for spark. All right, looks like it did have spark. It was kind of hard to see from my angle. Okay, let's get this gas tank off so we can get better access to this carburetor. Well, I ended up taking this left fender off so I can get at this stuff better, but there's a couple bolts right here for this plastic air box, and then there's this intake tube, Phillips screw there, and then looks like there's a 10 millimeter up there, and I'm assuming there's one on the other side as well. And then here's where it takes in the air, goes through the frame. So go ahead and get this stuff off and then get this box out of here, because that carburetor is gonna have to come that way. Alright, I ended up taking the right fender off too so I could get this other nut for the air box, and I got the air box off now. So there's just a couple 10 millimeter nuts holding the carb on. Alright, and then we got the choke cable that's left hanging on there. Alright, let's see how bad this carburetor is. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Looks like a bunch of water in there. Pretty corroded in there too. Huh. Alright, let's try to clean it up. So I'll have to see how many turns out this screw is, because it seemed like it was an awful lot that it was out. You know, usually it's like a turn and a half, but it seemed like it was 4, so we'll have to figure that out. Get that jet soaking. And that's plugged too, so we'll soak that. Alright, this needle seems stuck, so try to get this pin out of here without breaking anything. That's moving. That's good. Oh yeah, that needle's stuck in there. That's why this float's not coming out. Huh. Alright, let it soak. Alright, got the needle out. So I let it soak for a bit and then I pushed on it and then I was able to pull it out. Because this actually, it's, you know, it's held in there like that. So, alright, now we gotta clean this out here. Alright, so this rubber tip was all corroded underneath it and I kind of went to go just kind of clean a little bit and a tip fell off, so I'm gonna order a carb kit for this thing. In the meantime, I'll just let the carbs soak and probably just get back to this in a few days. Alright, I got the carb kit on order for that one, and then I figured I'd have a few more minutes, so I figured I'd put some oil in the spark plug hole for this one. And I took the recoil off so I could get this turning, and it worked. So I just kind of kept working it, and it goes pretty free now, so that's good. So I think I'll put this recoil back on and see if it has spark. Alright, let's test for spark on the parts machine. And it does have spark. That's cool. Okay, it's been about 6 days since we left off here. In that time, I've got my carb kit that came in the mail yesterday from 223 Cycles. It's made in Japan carburetor kit. So it's got the rubber gaskets, it's got the needle that I needed. And then I couldn't resist. I was on Amazon. And as much as I despise these Chinese carburetors, for $22, and this one actually had a lot of good reviews on there, I couldn't resist and I bought this. And it looks a lot like the original. I was kind of shocked. But I don't know, maybe as a backup, may end up using it. I don't know. We haven't even gotten into this one yet. So who knows? I don't even know what this carb looks like on this one. Could be worse. But this one, I've been kind of hitting this all week, letting this soak, this bowl. So that should clean up pretty nice. And then I've been soaking the carb all week. And that actually looks pretty darn good too. But one thing about this one, you can see this aluminum here is just kind of eating away. So I don't know if I even dare take this out because I have a feeling that's not going to turn out so well. So I think we're just going to leave well enough alone on that one. because that's just so eaten away. I don't think it's gonna have good results messing with that. And then we'll try to get maybe a little wire brush inside where that needle goes. And then I looked online, it looks like this air screw should be 1 7/8 turns out from seated. So that's what we're gonna go with for that. So, first things first, we'll get this carb kit installed. Put it back on the machine and see if this thing will fire up. If it does fire up, we'll let it run for just a little bit, and then we'll get this oil changed out, because that oil is pretty nasty looking. I don't want to run it too long with that in there, but I don't want to go change the oil if this thing, something major wrong with it. So let's get started. Alright, I got a brass brush here. I'll kind of see if we can get some of this crap out of here. Alright, so that's what we ended up with for the bowl. Pretty clean. Go ahead and put this new rubber gasket on. Take this brass brush and kind of clean up this channel a little bit. Just like that. Okay, onto the carburetor. I took the air screw out, and there's this little washer right here, and then that is in the kit, so if you do lose it, it's not the end of the world. And there's a spring in there. And I'll go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'll try to get some, like, maybe use this wire brush to clean off in where this needle goes. So I did pick up a set of brushes from Harbor Freight. I ground the tip down a little bit because the brushes didn't go all the way to the end. Just kind of clean that bore up a little bit. And then let's try some carb cleaner on a Q-tip and get right down where that seats. Oh yeah, look at that. That works pretty good. I almost wonder if I could do some, like, compound on this and kind of polish it up. I think I've heard of people using toothpaste. And you know what? I think I'm gonna try some toothpaste. We can always get it cleaned up. Let me go grab some. All right, we got some Crust Plus whitening. So the whitening should have some extra power to get this clean. Check that out. You know what? I think we're gonna try putting this on a drill. Spin that in there. It's obviously kind of working there. Well, maybe I don't really need to use a drill. I think it's doing just by hand. On second thought, let's get the drill on it. that works pretty good. And at least with toothpaste, you can't really overdo it because the grit is not aggressive at all. Alright, now I'll spray a little carb cleaner in there and clean it up. That looks pretty nice in there. That should seal good. Okay, so for this main jet that I'm not gonna disturb because it's so corroded, I'm just gonna use this tool and try to clean that bore that way. And we'll call that good. It does have some little ridges on here, so you can kinda, and that actually feels and looks pretty good. It's not all blocked up. Yeah, you can see right through it. Okay, so now we'll take some compressed air. I got a rubber tip nozzle to seal it up, and then I'll blow through all these bores. Okay, I think we're ready to start putting this back together. All right, we'll do the air jet. So put the spring on. Little metal washer. Then an O-ring. Okay, so it's lightly seated, so I think I saw where it said 1 7/8 turns out. So almost 2. So let's see here. 1. There's 2, and we'll back it off a little bit. So it should be right about there. All right, next up we got our pilot jet. Just snug it up, you don't need to crank on it. Then our main jet. Okay, then we'll slide our needle then we got the pin to hold the float in. You want to be careful, you don't want to break this cast aluminum. I'll put a drop of WD on there. Just like that. And you can see the needle moving like it should. And the kit comes with this new O-ring for this here. All right, then we'll put the bowl on. Snug them all up first, and then so you kind of get even distribution for that rubber gasket. All right, should be ready to install. Let's get this on there and see if it'll fire up. So there is also this gasket in the kit for this cap here for the slide. This one looks okay. I'm just gonna reuse that, but I'll just hang on to this and forget about it till I need it, and I won't know where it is. Got the recoil back on, and it's been sitting here and I haven't seen any gas come out the overflow, so that's a good thing. Let's see if this thing will fire up. Now I don't have the choke cable hooked up yet, so I gotta, and this is spring loaded, so I have to manually hold the choke closed. Make sure it's in neutral. Alright, I think this exhaust is plugged. There's hardly anything coming out, and it just doesn't sound right. So I was surprised there's not even any smoke coming, because I did put a little bit of two-stroke oil in the cylinder, and there is no smoke in here. That's crazy. Okay, so it sounds like this exhaust is plugged up. It just doesn't seem right. Because on my Yamaha 225DX, there's a lot of air that comes out. Huh. Maybe we should try hooking up the jump pack and see if this electric start works. I'll grab it. All right, got the jump pack hooked up. And we'll see if this thing... No? Oh, there we go. That must have been colored in there. like no air coming out. Yeah, there's like hardly any air coming out, so something is up. Maybe these baffles are broken loose in the exhaust or something. But something is not right. Huh. Well, at least it runs and it sounds really good. I don't hear any knocking. There's absolutely no smoke at all. I'm pretty surprised. Yeah, and it's all cold right here. So something is, it's either like a mouse nest in here or baffles broke loose and blocking it up. I don't know. But something ain't right. Okay, we'll have to check into that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. I'm gonna try to take this exhaust off, I think, and see if I can tell what's going on. All right, got the muffler off. This tail piece is pretty much almost falling off anyway, so I took it the rest of the way off just to kind of see in there. And it looks like that centerpiece is solid, then the kind of comes around the outside. So maybe I'm just gonna try heating this up, and I don't know, there's some crap that came out here. But check this out. Now when you start it, it actually moves some air. That's what it's supposed to be like. So obviously this is restricted. All right, I'm gonna see what I can do with this. All right, I left the torch on it for a while and it seems like it's flowing now. Oh yeah, it's flowing. So maybe there were some dirt daubers that made a home in there or something. But yeah, I just torched the heck out of it and that seemed to get it flowing. Okay, so while we're waiting for that exhaust to cool down, let's go ahead and get this oil changed. Drain plug is on recoil side and it's right here. All right, got the drain plug out. There's a spring, then there's a screen, and that goes like that. And these take about 1.5 quarts. I'm not sure which decade this got changed last, but it is pretty black. And we'll go ahead and let that drip for a little while. Okay, got our drain plug back in, and we'll go ahead and put 1.5 quarts of this 1040 ATV 4-stroke oil. This is for wet clutches. And just to note, I think there is probably some sort of oil filter behind this cover, but I don't have one handy right now, and I just pretty much want to get that nasty oil out of there. So eventually I'll have to look and see what kind of oil filter is behind here. So up next, let's get some gear oil on this chain. Now, if you bought one of these in '83 instead of '82, you got a little rubber plug here to access your chain easier for oiling. So 82s did not have this. Something I learned. So we'll take this plug out and we'll kind of roll it in neutral and get some oil on there. Okay, and now that it's ran a little bit and now it's cooled down, I want to know what kind of compression this thing has. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, so 146. I think that's right around where it should be, about 150, so that's looking good. Okay, so at this point, I'm just gonna put everything back together and we'll go take this thing for a little rip. Okay, so I did go ahead and get an air filter for this. It fits on here pretty nice, but it's long. I'm assuming it's just kind of like a cut to fit type of thing, and it'll work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a Sharpie and kind of mark right here where it should go, and then I'll just cut the excess off, and I'll put some oil on this too. All right, got the plastics back on. I did have a battery laying around, so I threw that in there. But I noticed the electrics, oh, there it goes. Okay, it works and it wants to. So I'm gonna have to order a new assembly here. I think I saw them on Amazon. Cause this kill switch, I got it taped so it's in the middle, cause otherwise it's just, you know, there's nothing holding it really. So I did go ahead and order a front brake cable and a handle. Normally you don't like to do that stuff unless you know you got a good runner, but I was pretty confident I could get something to run between these two. I do think that exhaust is still kind of plugged up. It just doesn't seem like the amount of air coming out is what it's supposed to be. So, but I think, you know, I'll give it a test drive here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this new brake line on. All right, now we have an operational front brake. This cable was a little bit bigger right here, so it didn't want to fit through, so I just drilled it out. It was about 30 thou bigger. So, no big deal. I got it adjusted. Seems to work good. And then I've been soaking the heck out of this rear brake. This was seized when I got it. Check this out. It's like brand new. So now the only brake issue left is this one for the rear. Cable's gone. But that should be easy enough to put on if I want. But at least I have front and rear, so that's good. So I think we're ready to fire this thing up and take it for a spin. Alright, so this has the high-low, so right now it's in high. And I did order a muffler off Amazon last night because this exhaust is still plugged. You can kind of hear it's not quite breathing like it should. It almost seems like it's kind of coming out from the header here. So, I don't know, maybe I can still try to get this cleaned out, but it's those dirt daubers that must have made a house in there, so. Alright, so this is a 83, so it's a downshift, and 85 they went to upshift. So let's go see if it goes through all the gears, and we'll try low range. Alright, now let's shift into low range. Alright, so all the gears work in high and low. Alright, not bad. Seems to shift fine, high and low works. So now that I know mechanically it seems okay, I can start working on the cosmetics. I can sand the racks down, paint them. This headlight guard's a little bent, so I could probably take this one and put that on there. Muffler I gotta take a look at. This seat needs to be recovered. This peg's a little bent back. But yeah, it's all needs new tires too, obviously. These are all cracked. And paint those wheels. Probably look at the bearings and the wheels too eventually. Plastic weld this little crack before it gets worse. But yeah, it's been a fun little project. Seems like a good runner. It's not smoking at all. These Hondas seem to run forever, so. But then there's this one. I'll be taking a look at this one, get this carb off, see what that looks like. And I have that Amazon carb over there. I did order a new ignition switch and a kill switch for this one. But hope you enjoyed following along. Stay tuned for more on these. Check out my other videos too. I got a bunch of ATV and snowmobile videos out there. All right, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.